Okay.
So we have a minute. Is Keith coming? Mandy, how are you doing? Sorry to ignore. I am, it's a challenge. Well, yeah, when you lose 50 pounds, right? No, you don't want to, it's all fluid. So, you know, my heart's not, was storing fluid as opposed to pumping efficiently. What I'm finding.
So Keith was supposed to come this morning and he sent me a text that he wasn't able to because he had a job to do. So I don't know.
Okay, so we're gonna start
Yes,
without me.
He's coming.
That's
He's usually
fine.
pretty good.
We have a quorum.
We
We have a quorum, maybe.
Okay.
All right, let's call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance.
to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amy, roll call, please.
Present, we have Wayne Runner, Jason Goldstrand, and George Hughes.
Approval of minutes and adoption of agenda. I just want to add to the agenda the East Stroudsburg Elementary sprinkler system for discussion with Josh. Is Josh doing virtual Zoom?
I don't know if you need to add that because it's already on the agenda.
It's on the agenda?
Well, we do have an ESE sprinkler thing on the
Only one,
agenda.
it's a partial, right?
And that's on what number?
Except for
Yep.
Billy, it's
For,
Billy Gouger is supposed
It's
to
the
be
first one.
talking about it. But I'm not
it's
sure he's on Zoom
4A.
yet.
It's 4A.
okay, so I have a different one.
4A.
4A?
Yeah.
No, that's Smithfield. Those are two schools.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. It is Smithfield and not ESE.
I'm looking at
You-
ESE
you're
sprinkler
right.
replacement invoice.
Yeah, that's for paying Dewey. I guess we can
talk about.
We can talk about it then, that's fine. Is Dewey doing virtual?
Yes, Josh is on Zoom.
Okay. I just have to remember to have a discussion on that, that's all. All right, so the approval of minutes of last month,
Second.
and I abstained because I was not present. The next Property and Facilities Committee meeting is March 5th, 2025, here at 5:30. Items requiring action. Smithfield fire alarm proposal for $10,296.90 with Keystone Fire and Security. Who's going to discuss that? Is that you, Rob?
It is not, Billy Gouger was supposed to be on Zoom. Is anyone on Zoom?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good.
Hi, Billy. Billy, you have the table, podium.
Hi, this is to replace the current fire panel, which is pretty much out of date, obsolete. We've been having a lot of problems with it, and it's gonna cost more to fix it in the long run than it will to replace it this coming summer. The reason you're seeing it now is there's roughly a 3 to 4 month lead time to get the parts in, and we did budget for this for the next fiscal season.
So what you're saying, this is coming out of the capital reserve for this replacement?
It was in the budget. We did budget it for the 24-26 budget season.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Budgeted for next season.
Yeah.
Next school year, sorry.
That's
But we have to order it. We have to approve it now so they can order the parts now. So we have the parts come July 1st.
no problem.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
You're welcome. Have a good night, guys.
No. Next item, 4B, graduation chairs for North High School, $8,957.30. Well, through Event Stable.
Yes, this is the fourth installment of chairs that we have purchased over the past 4 years to get enough graduation chairs to have 1,000 chairs at High School North and 1,000 chairs at High School South. So this is the last 500.
So
Which-
2,000 total.
Yes, 2,000 total in district, 1,000 at North and 1,000 at South. And this price is lower than the past. Every year, the price gets a little bit lower, so I don't know how that is, but
Really?
We'll take it.
every time I reach out, the quote gets a little better, so
When does that happen?
never.
Right?
I even
That's
looked back 4 years and I was like, I don't know why, but
Made in America, maybe?
And you're not gonna have, right?
I'm not gonna answer. I'm just gonna accept it, so. This would be our final installment for chairs for the graduation, so we own all our chairs.
That's all.
All right, next item is 4C, Dewey's CHA invoices. George, I believe that you wanted to have a discussion on the bus.
I asked,
Is Josh available?
I asked Rob on the buses. But the bus garage, yeah.
Yeah, we want to, so go ahead, have a discussion on the bus garage.
That's on invoice,
4A, you said?
no, it's on invoice 99141-02. Is that the bus garage, Josh?
Yeah.
Yes, that's.
I thought we were going to get an issue of looking at a trailer.
I have it right here. It was just given to me today. I can hand it to you if you like.
Please
That's
do.
fine, because we weren't gonna,
These bills are just anything that Dewey does for us. Doesn't
Right.
mean that they're doing anything right now,
But
but
building
since we're
specs.
talking about it, he's billing us.
Just-
That's what this is.
I literally got it.
I thought that a certain amount he bills us anyhow, so then we can get this bill.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
He gets 2,400,
No, I got you.
2,500 a month for little things, am I correct?
But 56.
plus CHA gets a percentage of
I
all of our
thought
projects that
for
they are
these little,
involved.
I thought for these little things like this, he's supposed to. We're paying him so much a month,
Right, we pay him a
a
retainer fee
retainer.
every month,
Which
correct.
includes
And-
him doing some
and then
little
they
things.
also bill us for every project that they are involved in, yes, correct.
Why would he bill us for this? Is not
Because
private?
we have been discussing
We've
this
been
with
discussing,
him,
we have not asked him to do any drawings or anything,
correct,
so why
But
would
we-
we?
but we still get charged for discussion.
We did have him a few months ago.
We
We
did.
did have Josh do drawings. He brought
Mhm.
drawings to months back on what it would look like and
Yeah.
everything. So we had him
Correct,
working.
we did have him do drawings.
Yes. And I believe he's the one reaching out to
Okay,
people, so that's
I
why,
guess
yeah, it's a good
if
question.
we,
for sure.
I think we have a retainer, and it's a certain amount, they do a certain amount of work for that retainer fee, but yeah. At least that's the way I used to do it, but
So then I have a question, so I see that we have a 12x56. What is this roughly anyone know the size of the dispatch office right now? Up at the,
Off the top of my head, I do not have the information. Honestly, I received this at 4:54 PM. This is me. Amy just brought it here and I'm looking at it for the first time as well.
okay,
So,
Is Josh on?
Josh, are you there? Can you?
Can he answer some of these questions?
Yes, you guys hear me?
yeah,
Have you heard our conversation, Josh?
I have. So I can provide some clarification on this whole transportation building. So when this topic came up last year, the decision coming from admin and or school board was a separate building to be constructed on site for the transportation building. And as we kept going through the process, I sensed that there was some frustration with the amount of time for design and bidding and ultimately construction. So an initial recommendation I had made way back was perhaps a modular office trailer would be a better option. And that was not decided to go that route initially for, I don't know, whatever reason. But at this point, I still think it's a viable option and maybe a better option for you guys, specifically in terms of pricing. I mean, you're probably talking about a quarter of the price of something that's built from foundations and concrete block that we were talking about. If it serves the needs of the transportation office, which I think it does, because we were asked for a 2-office and sort of general commons area floor plan, I think the modular trailer would accomplish that, still providing 2 separate private offices for dispatchers and also an open area for the drivers. So I think it's accomplishing what you're looking for. And the conversation I had with Rob today, which I think might make sense, not saying that any decision was made, is, I've heard some other concerns with the existing garage that, maybe it'd be better to have a full pull-through solution. What we have currently is not really serving us long-term. Perhaps if at some point you guys want to renovate or reconstruct the garage building, maybe at that point it would be good for an addition with offices and a more permanent structure. But I think at this point, this is going to be the quickest and most cost-effective solution for that center. So that's why we kind of shifted gears from a truly designed with an architect and other consultants. And that process obviously is going to take longer than having a trailer delivered on site. So that's at this point why we're recommending, if time is of the essence with this, I think it solves the problem. And obviously it's much cheaper than going the other route.
The other was timing, and we're now 3 months into this, even talking a trailer, so the people are still gonna have the issue of going through the winter with the way it is, unfortunately. We were trying to get this done, I think, what was it, last November or October, to get past the winter.
So the bullets on the pricing summary sheet, Josh, one is purchase price, the other is a lease price.
So that's an option. That's an option for you guys. In other words, you could simply buy it outright, or in this case, mobile lease. The vendor would retain ownership of it, but you're paying a monthly lease. So, whichever. I guess if you're looking for a long-term solution, more than likely a purchase would make more sense. If it's more of a short-term kind of thing, then maybe a lease would make sense. But you have the option either way of how you'd like to procure it.
Well, if you took that payment, if we took that money of $1,400 a month roughly, it would be 47 months to get to 66,000. So I mean,
That's 4 years, basically.
but it's a 6-month lease, so like,
So we're paying.
why not just buy it outright?
Oh, yeah.
And it says electric and plumbing to be determined. And I'm not expecting a hard and fast number, but like, give me like tens of thousands, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like how much are we actually looking at, do you think?
For a utility extension for plumbing, electric, sanitary, I mean, geez, I'm thinking in the range of 75,000, depending on what type of, transformer might be needed, or, some other services. So that would be my estimate for that extension out there.
We do that in-house too? Do we have electricians in-house or plumbers?
I wouldn't be able to speak on that. But if it's a $75,000 job, that's a lot for our guys to do. So you're looking at $200,000 to get this over the finish line.
What do you say?
$200,000 to get it over the finish line is what.
But its purchase price is 66.
Plus 75.
Plus 75,
Plus another.
plus
40.
23, plus 25.5. It's $190,574 is what that comes into.
That seems awful high. I could be wrong, but Wayne, Is that,
Well, as far as plumbing connections, it's basically the fixtures and a building sewer tying into a septic tank. For discharge, and then electric is. Yeah, it seems to me for sure.
remember, we're talking for the unit itself, it's 100 and some thousand? I thought we really were talking about 50 or
But you know,
60,000 per
it's an
unit.
estimate, so I mean, certainly would have to be request for proposal. What's anyone know the existing size of the, when we did the alteration to the bus garage? Any idea what the dimensions that exist right now for them?
Josh, do you
know
have
the
that? I
answer
don't
to
have that in front of me. Do you, off the top of your head?
I don't, you're saying within the existing building footprint? The. Oh geez, I mean, that's probably, you're talking about the part that was kind of constructed behind that partition inside the building?
Yeah,
Oh boy, man, I'd say if that's 400 square feet, it might be a lot. I mean, it didn't seem like a whole lot when I was up there last time.
okay. And do you have a rough estimate on the dispatch, size of the dispatch office? No?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it seemed comparable to the size of the offices in that floor plan of the modulars. It didn't seem as if they were sacrificing square footage for the modular solution. And just to clarify, so that utility cost, I mean, the district would be faced with those connection budgets, whether it's a fully built building or a modular, you know, you'd be paying for that one way or the other.
If we're doing the project, it's a washing either way. Right, because it's similar.
That's right. So we're basically talking about the cost of the structure, you know, that's connected to those utilities. And obviously the modular would be much more cost effective than, like I said, what we were looking at was a masonry building with a pitched roof that would kind of match the look of the roof at the garage. And, you know, I think it was, I think you'd be honestly quite shocked come bid day if you were to proceed with a building of that nature. I think it's going to be quite expensive.
A question on this, what, it looks like it's about 360 to roughly 360 square feet minus the bathroom in open space, so probably less than 3 square feet that would be available to the drivers. What size do we have roughly now? I think you said it was over 400 in the temporary. And does that count the kitchenette area that is up there now for them? Because this doesn't have anything of that sort. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be the amount of square foot in that open office area if we had to put in a kitchenette to make it match what they have currently with the restroom. And what would
Yeah, I that was an estimate. I don't want to misspeak. If we're comparing A to B, I don't want to give you a false number. So if you can give us a day or two to just get those dimensions up there so that it's a fair comparison. I don't want to misspeak.
Right. No, my concern is that I just don't, I'm looking at the space here with the restroom and then it cuts down in square footage and then having some sort of kitchenette area in there to match what they currently have. I don't want to put in an area where we actually can't fit the number of people that we would be purchasing this for. It would kind of defeat the purpose. So I just want to make sure we have enough
Understood.
and so forth before I would.
And do we have any idea how many people are in this at any given time? I mean,
That's a question
that's
always,
the issue.
yeah, that's a question that's always asked, and it really varies on the day, so.
But
Yeah,
what's worst
the
case?
maximum number of people we
Right,
could have?
what's the maximum?
like,
number?
I think when
What's
I
the
asked
big-
the Maris last, it might be like 20 people
Well, so 20 people in that, with a bathroom and all is that gonna be pretty
I
cramped?
also don't know why we need two big offices.
We don't.
Like, could could this just be the office, they share the office, and this be the whole space? You know what I mean? So like, can we configure it?
Yeah.
Yeah. copy reconfig.
Let me sit down and have some conversations with Damaris about usage and what the
Yeah,
configuration.
because we wouldn't wanna buy this and then.
And honestly, I haven't seen the space yet, so I need to get my eyes onto this
Yeah.
before.
Okay.
Thanks again, those steps.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, next item is, any other discussion on, Josh's invoices? Can I see your invoices, please?
See, that's like.
No, no, that was an ankle.
I was just teasing.
Okay, Josh, I have a question for you. The invoice for the North Campus door pipe replacement. There's a couple of outstanding invoices on this. Are they still outstanding?
That I don't know, Wayne. I'd have to check with our accounts receivable department, but typically they hound me if they're out, 60 days or so, and I haven't gotten a notification recently, so I'm guessing they've been paid, but I can check.
He's at least a month behind with them, with CHA invoices. We're at least a month behind with them.
60 days?
Usually not so much 60 days, but definitely at least 30, because by the time I get them, we have to wait till they get approved off of this committee. And then they get approved through the board, and I don't pay them until they get approved from the board.
Okay,
So that's a good month or so. So we're always about 30 days behind with CHOP.
okay, I'm asking because I have a invoice October 25th and then
Yes, yes,
invoice November, and if we are approving the payment of these, I just want to make sure that they get paid.
of course, yes, they are always getting paid. It just is going to be a little bit late since they have to go on every agenda
So
now.
you pay them and not the business office.
Well, I submit them for payment,
Okay,
and then the business office writes the check.
so once you submit, you're at the mercy.
But I can't submit them
You're at the mercy.
until Control signs it.
Got it. And so what was my other question? So with respect to the storm pipe replacement, I guess I can wait for the change order to have that discussion. With Rutledge, I don't have a problem with the change order. That completes stage 2, right?
It does. So that's their final payment request is also attached. And that is closing out phase 2.
And then I'll bring up, I guess I'll save it for later. I'm gonna ask you then questions regarding the stage 3, are we going to do requests for proposals for this summer's continuation?
We can certainly do that. How about if I
If I what?
Did we lose him? What's the matter?
You lose track?
If I, you there, Josh? Clearly not. Josh? Can we get him back?
Hi guys. Sorry, did I lose you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm not sure how much you heard, but yeah, so basically what I can do for phase 3 is just map out a general scope so that it's somewhat consistent from a budget perspective as phase 1 and 2, and then we can start with that documentation.
So, so what you need from the school board is stage 3, an area for attack?
Yeah, so I can make that recommendation with a budget, I guess, and then you guys can just say, yeah, it looks good, especially like I said, from a budget perspective, and we can proceed from there.
And what would be your recommendation now that you're familiar with stage 2, stage 1? And I know that stage 3 is either going to finish out go through the parking lot to the, I guess eventually it's discharging to the detention basin in the back. Or do we attack the growing sinkhole at the edge of Lehman Intermediate parking lot? Those sinkholes are growing.
So phase 1, Wayne, we hit the lowest point, which is down by the stadium entrance. There's a large collector box that ultimately goes into the basin. So we rectified that portion as part of phase 1. Phase 2 extended further out from that low point. So my recommendation for phase 3 would be to continue going towards the front of the school, which is, the higher elevation, and also include those long trench drains, those surface drains that have become an issue with sinkholes and not being straight or consistent, and maybe include some of those as part of phase 3.
I'm fine.
Sounds good.
So that would include the big sinkhole growing and then along the entire edge of the parking lot of Lehman Intermediate.
Is the entire.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear more about what you're experiencing with the sinkhole now, because phase 2, which was just the one that we've just finished, included that large grass area outside of the Lehman Library, which historically had been where the sinkholes were happening. So that was part of the phase 2 scope.
You know where
Unless-
the egress cartway is for the parking lot for Lehman Intermediate in front, right? And we talked
Yes,
the drains that you just spoke of that are ineffective.
yes, correct.
The new sinkhole is at the corner of the paved parking lot, where there is a grassed open space area that we mow, and
Okay.
where the storm pipe, where we cut across the cartway to enter and leave that parking area. You know, where they had to do the extra digging, where the extra concrete was being.
Yes, yes.
If you follow that stormwater pipe towards the front of the building, you will now see a very large sinkhole growing
I see. Okay.
in the long grassy area. And then that makes the bend and goes along the edge of pavement of that parking lot. We little sinkholes occurring right now throughout that length.
Gotcha. Sounds like a prime candidate for phase 3. So I can make sure that I include that stretch as part of the scope and the budget for you guys to review.
Yeah, because there's a concrete walkway, staircase to the upper parking lot that now has a diamond plate. It's not it was a concrete slab. Because of the sinkhole, it's now a diamond plate, piece that covers the sinkhole. That's incorporated into the walkway to the staircase.
Now,
You'll see that.
You're talking the grate part, though, the other, part, right?
The what?
Where the grate is, on the grate that goes across the parking lot. You're talking that's the other part you're gonna do in phase 3?
Yeah, I would recommend starting to do some of those surface trench drains as part of the next phase of work. they just seem to be getting worse and worse every time I'm up there, so that's why I'm mentioning that.
And in reality, shouldn't we just eliminate those and when we pave the parking lot, forget the drainage, because at the end of the day, all it does is fill up with cinders, anti-skid, and it, you know, the drainage system is actually clogged. The metal plates are obviously because of the frost freeze heaving. You know, I can see it's tearing up plows because of the uneven surface. You see that yourself, right?
Yeah, I'd like to make sure that if we eliminate or relocate drains, that whatever piping is attached to them is a large enough size that it can accommodate the extra flow. So in other words, if we're intercepting flow somewhere, and we eliminate that the next downstream structure is large enough to handle that increased volume. So that just some things we'd have to verify as part of that. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, they don't work. Well, you know that those drains do not work.
Well, not if they're clogged, for sure. No.
Yeah, they become a maintenance headache, and we're always going to be using anti-skid and cinders to, and all it does is collect in those stormwater, and then stormwater is not going to flow. It's not functioning in the method it was installed. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to spend money on doing it so that we start or we end up where we are now. It doesn't make sense. I just prefer sheet flow to the edge of parking lot. That's all I'm saying. And I understand about, you know, making sure they grate for the edge of pavement is sufficient. I don't, that's not an issue. It's going into the grass. And if we're conveying it into the stormwater pipe, we, you know, it's solving a lot of problems. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we have an idea of what stage 3 is. Super. George brought up the sprinkler system. We spoke about the transportation. 18 floor replacement, rooftop. So we're done with the rooftop north campus rooftop equipment. That's a done deal now, right?
It is a done deal, yes.
And the HVAC for Resca is a done deal, right?
Yes, correct. Both projects are complete.
Now, just so you know, you're giving us December invoices, and each one has outstanding invoices that are October, November. You know, I'm just hoping that you're getting paid on a timely basis. That's all.
Yeah, I'll check. I'm thinking that I would have been reminded if that were still the case, but I will follow up and make sure.
Well, I'm assuming that since you're putting them on current invoices, you're trying to tell me something. I don't know if that's the case or not, but
I don't think we're that far behind.
okay. Next item on the agenda, 4D, applications for payment, Rutledge Excavating for $42,078. That's for stage 2, right?
Yes, that's the final payment request for phase 2.
And then the other one that you have here on 4E is the change order for the paving, I guess.
Yeah, so last month, or maybe even a month before, we had the change order for the actual pipe work. They wanted to get that in as they were doing the pipe work. as part of the pipe work and how the existing pipes were routed and not quite as shown on plan, there was additional paving, excavation, and restoration to do, which is reflected in that change order that's in front of you tonight.
Okay. Jason, George, you guys have any items to discuss? No?
We didn't have anything.
No, you good?
Huh?
You have anything you want to discuss?
No, I think
You're okay?
Yeah, oh, okay. I think that we discussed everything.
All right, next item on the agenda, are reports, nothing on Lyman and Nash. Current capital projects, any discussion on current capital projects?
Yeah, I just had a question for it. I know a couple of months back, we were talking about the storage concession. Where we brought the layout again that we're discussing. I noticed that there's just been like some change of language. It's a self-storage building considered the field house storage like we've been talking about. That's in the second portion there. Because it's about what we allocated for it originally.
300,000 line item?
No, it's in the capital budget.
Oh, the
plans.
million?
It's a million.
It's 1 million for 26, 27. I just want to make sure that's the same capital project we're talking about, and if we've gotten anything with regard to what that layout would look like.
We have not, so I can tell you that this, so we had intended to bring kind of an updated capital plan. Because this has just somebody else's footprint and we wanted to have some conversations, because of, recent events that somebody was not available. We've postponed that until next week. So next property and facilities, we're going to come with kind of some suggestions and some movement of some projects, and additions. And so this is for right now, but
Right.
we might be making some adjustments to that. Storage is an issue in our district, and
Right.
so we might come with other suggestions and other solutions.
Because we got a basic one a while back ago, but it wasn't the whole point. It wasn't deep into where we were going.
Right.
And we definitely wanted to go to that route over building a new facility because that just. So the storage building, whole barn.
Right, so not building a new facility, but kind of renovating and adding on.
Yeah, because the issue was if we built a new facility and we put in the bathrooms, we needed, what was it, like 46 bathrooms?
Yeah.
I also thought there was an issue that if you renovated though, once you renovate, doesn't it fall under that same? And
Well,
John, you would be able to say that.
This
more
was the
than-
addition. The
Right.
addition was gonna have the bathrooms on the exterior.
Mhm.
And in order to do that, Josh said that we needed something like 46 bathrooms for that, so. That's why we decided not to go with these.
Now I have recollection, we were also discussing how jealous we were of St. Luke's donation to.
I met with them. We talked to Pocono Mountain. So after you said that, thank you for bringing that up. I met with St. Luke's and with Pocono Mountain. It's not a truthful statement. They brought both agreements to us and they have given us the same amount of money that they have given Pocono Mountain.
It's nice to know that.
Yes. So I followed up on that within a week's time.
Cause that would have been, you know, a nice.
I promise, I met with the representatives from
I
St. Luke's,
thought
had
it
good
was
conversation.
pretty excessive.
Yeah, it's, and they honestly said that their community partnerships, St. Luke's is actually losing money. So they said they're in no position to build a $1 million facility for any school district.
I thought that makes sense.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
does. I was like, come on. It's a nice facility.
Hard though, I said, listen, if you're building that, we want something
Yes.
better.
So that's a taxpayer funded,
Correct, and they did the weight room, so they did a component of it. But we use those funds, it's the same funds, we just use them in different ways.
yeah. that's
Yep.
fine. It was certainly worthy to find out for
Yeah.
sure. It's a nice complex they have going.
Wayne,
Good for them.
Yes.
do we have an update on the school boards?
Oh,
I talked to.
there was scoreboards have started. Let me get the email so I
That
get
was
the
the other
exact
part.
language of what happened today.
We have permits, right?
We do have
Get it?
permits. It was,
Hallelujah.
there was.
I knew there was something you wanted me to remind you of. when-
Hallelujah.
Yeah, whistle.
Footers need to be inspected, electrical work.
We said
I'll
that.
say that. Right, on record. I don't-
We had, so Leland Township's permit came in a month ago. East Stroudsburg Borough Township came in a tad high, over $12,000. So we asked some questions about that before paying it, and it took a few weeks back and forth, and then it lowered by 90%.
90%.
About
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they were delayed because we were not comfortable paying $12,000 plus
thank
for a permit.
Yes.
So, we are permitted. There was an issue this morning at the North Campus, and I'm gonna try to explain, properties and facilities is not my thing. And I hope Daryl is having a good time with his family right now. While boring a footer hole for the new scoreboard, the contractor struck, I'm reading this, a de-energized underground direct burial power cable feeding the baseball field lights. So now, right, so.
Before you dig.
Yeah,
Well,
we
there's
didn't do the one
they-
call.
they used red tape. And that's how they, while they were boring, they ran into something that they knew they had hit something, so they stopped. But because the drill was so big, whatever. So now we have to slightly adjust where the footer is. It's not a big adjustment. But we're going to have to replace the
Damage.
cable too, and the reality is we read the contract and that's our responsibility to replace it, not theirs.
Really?
It's not their responsibility to identify underground utilities.
We were supposed to identify that for them.
That would be smart of them to do that. We were responsible for the one call.
Okay, well,
Did we do one? No.
I can't answer that.
okay.
I mean, I should be able to answer that. I have no idea.
Can we make sure that that's taken care of at South before they start digging footers?
Yes.
They're already digging that stuff.
They're already digging it. All
Yeah.
right, let's do it.
But they, I don't know where they haven't hit anything.
So we're playing Russian roulette.
We should not be. We will clean that.
As of right now, no issues at South, but.
Well, now you said
Okay, well, I
it. Now you
want
put
to,
it out there. Ethan.
Well, there's nothing really out there, so that's okay.
Right.
so I do want to generate minutes thanking the Borough of East Stroudsburg for their kindness on the reduction in the permit fee.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. We're partners in this, so, at the end of the day. Nice.
Wayne, can I just jump in real quick?
Sure.
So the PA one call is for public utility locations. So what you have up there on site, it's all basically private extensions of a power service. So even with a one call, that would not have picked up every, conduit or electrical line that's out there. There are companies who do underground utility locations, and depending on what's happening down at South, you might want to engage a utility locator company to do that. It's, it'll be, I don't know, maybe $1,000 or something, but could be well worth it at the end of the day.
My concern is the damage to the power cables for the baseball field with baseball season approaching. Are the lights completely defunct at this time, and do we know if?
I'm not 100%
Okay.
certain, so we're down a man.
Right.
So my hope is next week I'll have a better answer.
Okay, and then obviously there's gonna be a cost to repair.
Correct, absolutely.
And what's the status then of the stadium hot water heater boiler? What's the status on do we have any updates on that? No?
So it's the same as last month, Wayne, and that's only because we're waiting to get out of the heating season to make the boiler switch over. The hot water heater had been replaced geez, I think we reported last month that it was already replaced. So domestic hot water is up and running. It has been. It's just the heating system that we're going to wait until we're, into maybe late March or so, where that building can do the cutover from existing to new.
Okay, and that's on here. Stadium. High school South Stadium. Do we need to add that to this project list?
We're gonna come to you with a new project list.
Okay,
The South Stadium boiler,
Is it the top?
domestic hot water, that's on there, it's the first line item.
stadium boiler up top,
Yep.
got it. Okay. All right, so that's pending. All right, next item.
So this is the capital payments. So at last board meeting, there was some conversation that the spreadsheet was a little overwhelming. So, I created an updated spreadsheet.
It's very nicely.
And I just, is this better for us to understand? And does this give you the information that you were looking for that the old report did?
Yeah,
So the old report was created intentionally for this meeting. So it's not like an internal document that we use, so we can start using this and updating. If this is easier for all of us.
Much easier to read,
Okay.
no.
Perfect,
Yeah, thank you.
okay.
The others was very colorful, but it didn't help.
Okay. So Amy, then we'll work with Diane Kelly and just work on updating this monthly.
and and just to rehash, the north generator is 100% complete, right? It says it is, I just
Yeah,
want to
yes,
make
it
sure.
is.
What payments?
It's project completion.
And we're currently working, oh no, it says that's done too, never mind. We just did scoreboard, baseball field drainage, Lehman, I guess we're, I guess I should wait until Daryl's here, they're talking about baseball field. Okay. And we're making progress with the Otis elevator.
Yes,
Okay,
We gotta get new parts for that. Was that the whole thing?
Yes, the
They
elevator
changed
is
the part.
up and running. They replaced the packing for the time being, and they will continue to do so. Keep it up and running while we're waiting for the new piston shaft to come in to replace it permanently. Awesome.
and kudos to them, they're really taking ownership of this and helping us through this, so.
okay. And that's the elevator that keeps coming back to haunt us.
Yes,
The one number here.
Starghost elevator.
Yeah.
All right, old business project updates. Any questions on that? George, Jason?
I'm here too, Wayne. I got stuck in traffic, just so you know. So coming back from a job, but I finally got signal.
Oh,
Okay.
hi Keith.
I've been on for a few minutes. I got, it was terrible. I was having terrible signal, but I got back and so I'm here. I've been sorry.
Welcome. So any items for discussion, indoor air quality assessment for entire district, Rob?
Yes, so every time I get the reports, after I do my housekeeping, I put the reports on. For you guys to review, and if you have any questions, you can ask me at any time.
Okay, Keith, you have any items to discuss now that you're with us?
I'm pretty good. Everything you got everything pretty much. It's nice to see you at the table, Wayne.
Thank you. Feels good to be here. Any,
You look a little lighter too, my friend. Look good.
yeah, 50 plus. Was the easiest 50-pound drop I ever had. Next item is public participation. I don't see any public. Is there anyone virtually that has would like to discuss anything on our agenda? Hearing none. Motions. So there's a motion to recommend Keystone Fire and Security for the Smithfield fire alarm. What is it, panel box? Proposal for the 10,296.90. Do we have a motion?
So, second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to purchase our final installment from Event Stable, the North High School chairs at $8,954.30.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to pay CHA invoices as presented. Motion,
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to accept application for payment for Rutledge Excavating at $42,078.21 and to
Motion.
hold that thought and to accept the change order for $22,497.73.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What?
Everyone enjoy their snow day tomorrow.
Is it a
Yeah.
snow day or a nice day?
It's a snow day.
It's a nice
day.
It's a nice day.
Is that all it is, ice?
Yeah, it looks like mostly ice.
I'd rather
How
have,
much?
Quarter of an inch.
I'd rather have
Okay.
snow, I'd rather have snow than ice.
Correct. What?
I'd rather have